when you talk about change in this industry, you actually meet so many people, and it allows you to get the resources that you need. If I started today, I couldn't imagine. I mean, if I had these resources in 2004, I'd probably have 60 stores.
Welcome to the PlanetLaundry Podcast. In this edition of the podcast, we chat with Jodan Reed, the owner of the Splash 'Em Out laundromat chain, a 9-store operation based in Lexington, Kentucky. Reed shares his thoughts on the importance of branding, what he looks for in a winning laundromat location, how pickup and delivery is changing the game, the keys to success in today's laundry business, and much more. The PlanetLaundry Podcast is brought to you by Planet Laundry, the magazine of the Coin Laundry Association. This is the Planet Laundry Podcast. I'm your host and the editor of Planet Laundry Magazine, Bob Nieman. Today I'm with Jodan Reed, the owner of Splash 'Em Out Laundry in Lexington, Kentucky. Splash 'Em Out is a 9-store chain serving the greater Lexington area, which also features a strong wash, dry, fold, and pickup and delivery business. Hey, Joe, thanks for being here today.
Great to be here. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I am so excited to have you on the podcast today because you're the type of person I kind of envision when I think of a laundromat entrepreneur. I know you've been involved in a lot of different ventures through the years, and it's certainly been probably a long and winding road to get to where you are now, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah. And I know that you've had the entrepreneurial mindset since the beginning. In fact, I know that there's a story from back when you were in, I think, middle school, where your capitalistic spirit kind of earned you a 3-day suspension.
It did. It did.
Can you share that if you don't mind?
Absolutely. Well, I would take my paper route money, and I always said, well, I'm not making enough money, and I wanted to parlay that into something a little bit more. And there was no candy or anything at the school, so I would go buy candy in bulk at the local convenience store. I hooked up a friendship with the owner there. He said, well, I can give it to you at a cut price. So I buy Charlie Chan's, Blow Pops, whatever. And so I'd buy them for 10 cents, for example, and I'd sell them for $0.25 at school. So the markup was tremendous. So I would sell and sell and sell. It caught wind. The principal came to me one day and said, you can't do that anymore. I said, well, okay. And I did it anyway. Next thing you know, I got suspended. They gave me 3 days. It was back then. It was usually 3 days or 3 licks. I took the 3 days. They didn't give me the option of 3 licks. I was like, well, I'll just take the 3 days. So I went home, and then I came back on that Monday, and they had their own candy store set up. So
that's the best part of that story. Yeah, it's like.
And what's funny is Mr. Maris, who my math teacher was back in the day, he came to my laundromat on Pimlico Parkway, and he reminded me. He said, "I remember that what happened to you, and I always took up for you. I want you to know that." I said, "Oh, that's great. You see here where I am today. It's all good. Thank you."
It got you a trip to the principal's office. Just being an entrepreneur. There you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Keep plugging away. Don't quit.
Yes. Fast forwarding a bit, after college, you actually got involved in sports broadcasting, I believe.
I did,
and you actually considered making that a career. Can you share that a little bit?
Yeah, actually, so I worked for Channel 36 WTVQ, which is a ABC affiliate. I worked for, my sports director was Kenny Rice. You may know who he is. He works for. We won the Eclipse Award 4 days in July on horse racing. So he's big in horse racing, and right. You'll see every Derby, you'll see Kenny Rice. So I was working for him, and then we covered Kentucky basketball, the Kentucky sports. And matter of fact, I got kicked out of UK football because they said I was spying, which I wasn't, because I just asked a question: why don't you put Tim Couch in shotgun? And Bill Curry called the station and said he's not allowed to come back here again. He's spying. Kenny loved it and wanted to give me a promotion, of course. But working in broadcasting journalism, I mean, of course, I got to cover the '96 UK basketball championship Wildcats. That was remarkable.
Oh, yeah.
Sit on the floor every week. Team. It was nice. It was fun. But being in broadcasting, you learn deadlines, and there's no excuse. The story's going to come, it's going to go, and goodbye. They're not going to wait on you. And I think that's what's really helped me in this business. is because when I say I'm going to do something, if I'm 10 minutes early, I'm late. That's how I feel. If you're not 10 minutes
Right.
early, you're late, basically. So that's how, work on a deadline and get things done. But I had a good time in broadcasting.
Yeah, yeah, no, it sounds like a fun time, and again, certainly some of those lessons have carried over to today for you and have
It
helped you
has.
out. Absolutely.
It has.
Well,
Yeah.
well, how did
And
the laundry business?
I have a
Right.
hair for radio now. I have a hair for radio now. But
Okay.
I had hair.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to ask, how did the laundry business then finally make its way into your life? And I know there were some, turns and twists here and there, but eventually, I
Yes.
think I want to say 2004.
2004. It's funny because when I got married in 2001, and my wife was like, "These hospitals are dirty." She's a registered nurse, and I was like, "Yeah, well, let's start a cleaning service." So we started a janitorial company. We were cleaning like 500 houses a month, and it's funny how we don't clean one house now, but that's what led us to the laundry business because we went and bought washers and dryers and put them in the basement, and we
Okay.
were doing pickup and delivery for our customers because wouldn't leave maids behind, so they would bring it back, and then we would
Okay.
send the clothes back the next time we came to clean the house.
Hmm.
So that started that. So that was like a pickup delivery, basically, before we had any good software or anything like that. I didn't know anything about distributors. I didn't know anything about because I bought the washers and dryers at H. Gregg. So there you
Right.
have it. But then fast forward, me and Kelly were talking. Well, we really need to get a laundromat, and we found this building, and it was empty, and it was already equipped. It had all the infrastructure, and so we called a Maytag deal. Somebody we found somebody, and they came and put a laundry in
Right.
for us. And but we had partnered with people because I didn't know anything about the business. They didn't know anything about the business, but it was rocking. It did really well. And and when we did a wash and fold, we didn't know anything about the that cleaner supply. I didn't know anything about cleaner supply. Any of the what we know now.
Right.
How you could get materials, you could get product. Didn't know anything
Hmm.
about it. Just kind of plugged away, and then we sold out to them. But we took that money immediately, opened up the Brown Station location. We found that, and
Hmm.
then that started our chain of stores
Right.
and splash them out.
Right, right. Well, it's interesting. You kind of did it a little bit the cart before the horse, where you had the pickup and
Yeah.
delivery business before you
Yes.
owned the laundromat, and you're kind of, again, as you said, just plugging away and learning as you do it. And when did you realize that it was, hey, it's time to buy a laundromat? What sparked that decision? Maybe other than finding the location or stumbling upon the location, but how did you know that it was time to become a store owner?
Well, um, well, when it was time because we were just getting so busy in our cleaning business, and I knew that we wanted to be an entrepreneur. We wanted a brick and mortar store for ourselves. We wanted a place for people to come in and do their laundry, and we just knew. I think it's in you. I believe personally, some people just have the entrepreneur mindset, and I do, and so I do put the cart ahead of the horse. I'm really sometimes I'll do something and go, oh well, maybe I should have done this before, but if I see something, I feel like most people won't go into it. It's you
Right.
go into a nasty dump and you're like, golly, could you make this nice again? And I start envisioning the floors. I start envisioning the walls. I start envisioning the nice big washers we could have up front, and start envisioning customers coming in and having it really nice and set up for the for the neighborhood and really do something nice. And that's just knowing when we want to do something like that. I think it's just always been there. I
Right.
always want to do something.
Right.
So it's kind
Right.
of a trick question in a sense.
Right, right, right. Well, hey, from that first store, you've grown now to 9 stores and growing. I know, and these stores, I guess they range from I want to say 1,500 square feet to about 6,000 square feet. So you've got some
Correct.
large stores and you've got a smaller one. What factors to you make a winning laundromat? What do you look for?
Well, I look for infrastructure first. If it was a laundromat before, and then I also look for neighborhood. I'll look for now 1,500 square feet. I would normally run from that.
Right.
The reason why I didn't run from the 1,500 square feet is I noticed that there's a store next door, and I think they've recently been evicted, and I have already contacted the landlord, and they're going to allow us to purchase that property, so it's going to turn into about a $3,500 square foot store. So.
Okay.
But what I look for is location. I look for opportunity, and I look for word of mouth, seeing what people want out there. And you get a lot of that when people come to your store. They'll go, "I wish y'all had one over here at on Versailles Road." And I'm thinking, I'm looking for opportunities on Versailles Road. Especially when I see a lot of people come in and say, "I wish you had one on this side of town." They'll tell you what they want. Customers do. If you pay attention, you listen. If you engage in your store like I do, I'm always engaging with the customers, and I go in, and every time I go in, what can we do better? How are things? And then their first thing is, well, you need a laundromat in Berea. You need a laundromat and then I start thinking. It starts making my mind churn. Okay, that's not the first time I've heard this. What do I need to do?
Right. The customers will tell you what they want if you listen. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They leave clues.
Absolutely.
Sure. Well, now you're a strong proponent of branding your stores. They've all got the splash them out names, the same look, the same equipment, the same colors, all of that. Why is that so important to you?
Well, it's kind of like if you drive by a Texas Roadhouse, you're looking for another Texas Roadhouse. If you drive by a Walmart, Walmart. You go by. Just anybody. Like, say, for example, so if it's branded, it's very important to me because when they are in our laundromat, for example, they want to find another Splash Them Out. Now, if I had a laundromat and it was called Wash Place, and then we have Splash Them Out over here, then Commonwealth laundromat over here, right? So they don't know we own those. So when they're going to do their clothes, they're going to just drive by a Commonwealth laundromat. They're going to drive by the other one, and they're going to look for the Splash Them Out. So I believe if you're branded and you're doing a good job, then they're going to look for your store because all of our stores look identical inside. Color scheme, floors, washers, dryers, ease of use, attendant, clean, safe environment. So when they find a Splash Them Out, and that's why I think branding is very important.
Sure. It's key that you do a good job, though, because if you have one that isn't, then it certainly carries over to the whole brand, doesn't it?
If I had a zombie mat, I think I would name them all different names. Of course.
Right. Well, given the branding and the importance of that, what would you consider to be the essence of the Splash 'Em Out brand? Yeah. What are the key elements that make your brand your brand?
Brand image, brand personality, brand culture.
Okay.
The associations with your brand, mainly. That be basically it, because I believe it becomes a culture within the community. When they hear your name, they associate it with who you are and what you're doing. Not to get too specific, but so if you're out and someone says, "Yeah, I'm going to Splash Them Out," oh yeah, that's the cleanest laundries in town, and they don't use just one, but several. So It's funny because I've seen some customers at the other stores because they couldn't make it. I've seen customers go to the Nicholasville store because they're in Nicholasville. They just brought their clothes because they knew we had to Splash Them Out in Nicholasville. And since they were going to do something with their kids in Nicholasville, they just dropped their clothes off over there and did some wash and then came back through and picked it up. And so it works out. Branding. I just think branding is very important. Yes.
I've read you say that you like your laundromats to be a home away from home for your customers.
Yes.
How do you achieve that? What do you do to try to achieve that type of environment and that type of setting for your customers?
Okay. Well, we have a kids play area, and it's children friendly. So there's something always to do for the kids. We have games. We also have giveaways. Now it's not home away from home, but we also have, it's safe. Your home's safe. So we have TVs. There's always programming throughout. So you could have children's programming. You could have something on the other end of the store, soap opera, whatever they want to watch,
Hmm.
music. But when you come in our store, it's safe environment. It's clean
Hmm.
and it's attended. We have laundry attendants, and they're always there to help.
Hmm.
And it's comfortable.
Hmm.
We have plenty of seating.
Hmm.
That's very important to me, is to have plenty of seating and plenty of folding tables. So
Hmm.
there's room for the customer to come in and be able to fold their clothes and to not knock out in the way of everybody else. That's why we make our aisles. We try to make them very large aisles. I will sacrifice washers for aisles and aisle space, so you have the butt room and for people to bring their carts in there and get their clothes and go into the dryers. But
Right.
yeah, it's just home away from home. I guess it's in terms what you might consider home away from home.
Hmm.
A safe environment
Right.
for the most
Right.
part.
Right. Now you've mentioned safe a couple of times. What do you do to
Yes.
ensure that kind of safety, and what types of elements do you include in stores for that?
Well, we have cameras,
Hmm.
and all of our cameras you can listen to. They have voice recognition,
Hmm.
and security. We have a security system. We close at a certain time, so we're not open
Hmm.
24/7. So it's easy for us to keep certain bad elements of society away. Not to say that people need help. We try to, but but it's that's we run our laundromats on being safe and clean and very
Hmm.
clean.
Right.
So as far as, and we're always attended. Some laundromats aren't attended. Nothing wrong with that, but we like to be
Mhm.
attended, and we're constantly in there cleaning when we're attended if there's nothing to do.
Right, right. Well, speaking of being fully attended and clean and safe, where do you find great laundry attendants, especially these days? I mean, how have you been able to build winning teams, throughout Lexington as you have?
Well, we pay better than any of the other laundromats around here, first and foremost, and plus our attendants get commission on every wash dry fold they do, and by
Okay.
word of mouth. We get a lot of we get a lot of employees by word of mouth. So especially by the attendants that are already there, they'll tell their friends, "Hey, come work over here. They treat you great. It's
Hmm.
fun atmosphere."
Hmm.
And so, for the most part, or we'll use Indeed if we really want to hone in on a particular employee that we may need, like a general manager or somewhere in
Hmm.
the upper echelon of things.
Right, right. Perfect, perfect. Hey, Joe, what's your favorite aspect of the laundromat business? You've been in it now for 20 years. What do you enjoy the most?
The challenges. I
Hmm.
like challenges. That's what I enjoy the most. I enjoy knowing that when I come in, there's another opportunity to be more successful or to do something better
Right.
within the business. And that's what I enjoy most. And I enjoy the customers. I really do. I enjoy the customers. I don't like the complaints because when people complain, it's usually so minute, something just silly like, oh, this these suds aren't coming out. Well, you put too much soap in,
Right.
um,
Right.
trying to train people to understand. But that's the nature of the business. But I enjoy the meeting someone new every day.
Hmm.
I enjoy talking to our staff and seeing what challenges they have and how I could better ourselves
Hmm.
and what we could do better.
Hmm.
I just enjoy just in general. I just enjoy this business and
Hmm.
where it's going. I just enjoy it all
Right.
around.
Right. Right.
I'm not
Well,
bored
well,
yet.
yeah, absolutely. Well, certainly one of the places that it's going is toward pickup and delivery and full
Yes.
service. And
Mhm.
you've got a separate facility
I do.
for pickup and delivery. Tell me about this segment of your business. When did you open this facility? How large is it? Is this a bright spot for your business overall?
It's a very bright spot. Very
Okay.
bright spot. So
All right.
here's the situation. We have been doing pickup and delivery for several years, but we can never scale because we don't have the area to store storage. So when you see people like Mark Vlaskamp or Dom over here, they have these huge facilities that they can store their customers' clothes and bring the vans
Right.
in and go. So it makes scaling a little bit more difficult on a smaller end when you have, even though we have several stores, it's kind of difficult to stay on top of everything, even though we have great software now. We didn't have great software before, now you have curbside, which we love curbside, and there's several other softwares out there, but we have chosen curbside, and it has allowed us to scale. And so with that being said, we have gone on and purchased a 20,000 square foot warehouse, and I'm sitting in my office space of it right now. So we've moved everything over here, and
Okay.
and so we bought a big folder, a full text folder. I went down to visit Randy Roberts and looked at his folder in Columbus, and I said, me and Kelly were like, we have to have that now. So we ordered that. And so we just have the plumbing inspector. It's taken a little bit longer than I wanted to get everything up and going. You heard me before the podcast. We have the final inspection. So now we're ready to go. And all I'm doing is waiting on the Fotex people to hook the machine up to be in full force. But now we're ready. We're operating now out of this facility starting today. So it's funny. So I'm very excited. We have everything installed. And it's a bright future for pickup and delivery.
Yeah, that is exciting, and congratulations on that huge achievement. Putting that together was
Thank you.
no small task. What
No,
about
not
some
at
of the
all.
challenges in your pickup and delivery business and that whole segment?
Well, the storage. Well,
Yeah.
the main challenge was finding the right software to run your pickup and delivery. And I think if someone goes out here, like we chose Curbside and Matt Simmons, I've struck up a really good friendship with Matt and Aaron Simmons, and they have been very supportive for us. And anything that we see that we think that needs to grow, that they'll get on it. And like it just makes you look so much more professional. Back in the day, we were using paper tickets. You couldn't track that stuff. It was terrible. And now with all the tracking softwares out here and being able to manage the logistic, this is a logistical business. So it's
Yeah.
much easier to manage when you have the proper software in doing so.
Hmm.
So and then trying to figure out, we charge by the pound. We were thinking about charging by the bag. There's many
Right.
different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
I would love to get away from hangers altogether.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking about that because, that takes up a lot of room. That's an additional step. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to find ways to make things easier and more efficient and for our team and for everyone involved.
Sure.
So that's
Wait.
it. But as far as the hurdles on pickup and delivery, it's a hurdle because you're going into the unknown.
Hmm.
Because you started as a laundromat. Now you're truly doing a pickup and delivery. That's a completely different business, and you have to look at it that way as well.
Right. Right. It's a whole different animal, and any way
Yeah,
you can streamline it that you can, that's all just going to be better for you. But well,
absolutely, absolutely.
you certainly talked about how you were using paper tickets in the beginning, and you've been
Yeah.
in this business now since 2004. How has the industry changed since you've been in it? And obviously, the technology is a huge one.
Technology, big time. Technology has allowed us to grow. And I'm telling you another thing is social media, YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube has been a game changer for me because I just sit here and I just if you need to find something out, you can go on YouTube and find it out. So I mean, you have Laundromat Resource, you have Dave Menz, you have Jordan Berry over there, and you have uh, Peter Mayberry, you have Suds Digital, you have all these different people that you can just go to and learn. We didn't have that. I didn't have that. I mean, you have the Coin Laundry Association, which is great, but
Mhm.
for the most part, you had to go out and now you can meet these people online. Like Chock full of quarters, Tammy and Greg. I mean, I met Keenan Gutner.
Right.
You meet these people. You put a real name and face and you meet them, and it's amazing because and you strike up your friendships. And all my friends, Paul Pettifer came here last week and delivered bulkheads to me. And I like to do business with laundry people. And I love it because Paul, he carries his passions on his sleeve. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm going to buy bulkheads from you. I haven't seen them, but bring them down. And they're the best daggone bulkheads I've ever seen. I'm going to tell you right now. I did a video on it on my YouTube, but it was fantastic because these bulkheads were remarkable. And that's what's changed. When you talk about change in this industry, you actually meet so many people, and it allows you to get the resources that you need. If I started today, I couldn't imagine. I mean, if I had these resources in 2004, I'd probably have 60 stores.
Yeah. Wow.
Easily.
Right.
Like Luke and Lee Williford, they have 100 stores,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, as the industry has gotten bigger, it's also kind of gotten smaller through social media. And it's you do strike up these relationships and these friendships, and you help each other, and you shorten the learning curve for each other.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I hate leaving people out name wise. Like Ross Dossie's got his own. He's got his Facebook thing as well, and Wally Cope. I mean, it's amazing how many people, all these rock stars out here who are willing to help. That's the big thing. They're willing to help, and they're willing to have a conversation or classes or whatever you want. It's amazing to me. And there's no hidden secrets. They want to share. They want to share their experience. They want to share what they have to offer, and which is great. And that's why all my friends are in the laundromat industry now.
Right, sharing the knowledge. Absolutely. Yes. Well, what are laundry customers looking for today that maybe they weren't just a few years ago? How have they changed a little bit?
I believe people are time poor now, more than any time before. So I think they look for the drop service. I've actually had people who were floor customers who are now our wash, dry, fold customers. I think they look for. I think they're going to pass up a zombie mat and go right to a beautiful laundromat. They look for cleanliness first and foremost. They're not going to bring their kids into a dump. And I've noticed that because people will come in and go, oh yeah, we're coming to your place because the one down here was just dirty. See, I have a laundromat directly across the street to my biggest producer, directly across the street, and nobody goes there. And I asked them, I said, well, why don't y'all go over there? And say, oh, it's dirty. I'm like, well, good. I mean, they just, they could open up and get half my revenue, but they're not. I mean, they could clean the place up and get half my revenue. They're not going to do it. I mean, that's what people are looking for. They want clean, safe environment, in my personal opinion, more so than ever before. Because I've noticed a lot of people, Bob. I see a lot of people coming. They used to do their laundry at their apartment complex. They don't feel safe in there, so they come to the laundromat.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Great point. Joe, what would you have done differently in this business if you could go back?
Oh gosh, I've done a million things different. Not go so fast, slow down a little bit. And then again, I wish that I had prospected a little bit more, and picked up been a little bit more picky on where I got laundromats, because I have closed 4 laundromats along the way that were just not good laundromats. But yeah, I just wish I was a little bit more picky, instead of just licking my chops going, oh, I gotta have that now. And I think I would have focused more on purchasing property, rather than just getting the store. Even though in our situation, there aren't many opportunities on property because the stores are all in shopping centers. So it's hard to find a freestanding store where I would put one around here. There's a few, but not many opportunities. But I would focus more on property.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Owning it.
Right. Well, from your perspective, what do you see as some of the top challenges we're facing as an industry overall going forward?
I look at franchises. They concern me a little bit, especially when I'm purchasing from Alliance, but yet they have franchises. That does concern me a bit.
Right.
and I think people being new, getting into the business, I think it's becoming a little bit more and more difficult. So
Yeah.
it's concerning to me because I'm a multi-store owner, and then you see a lot of people out here who contact me on a day, constantly contacting me, wanting to know how they can get in the industry, and I tell them just watch the YouTube channels and you'll get an idea. And they come back with, well, they wanting this and this and this for the store. You see, in 2004, you wouldn't be paying $278,000 for a store.
Right.
You know, I think it's just a lot more. It's a little bit more difficult to get into the business. And I'm not saying you can't get into the business, but you're running into people like these big conglomerates who are coming out, and they're backed with a lot of money to build laundromats everywhere across the United States, and that would be the concern, first and foremost, especially for a newbie getting into the business. And
Okay.
a lot of times, new people, when they get in the business, they're holding another job. I don't have another job. This is my job.
Right.
So when you're new getting in the business, you can't stay at the laundromat 24/7 and really find out what's going on. Somebody can creep up around the corner and plant one right there. Like
Yeah.
they did me. They did me a half mile away from
Mhm.
my best producer, but
Okay.
they weren't going to defeat me because I'm on top of what's going on. But I would
Mhm.
think of someone new who couldn't market their company the way we can would they might get swallowed up a little bit, and that would
Right.
be the biggest concern that I have
Right.
for anybody
Right.
new.
Right. Well, along those same lines, what does it take to be successful in the laundromat business in 2023 and going forward?
I think you have to have to be successful. You have to market your company the
Hmm.
right way.
Hmm.
Hook up with a company like Suds Digital or something like that. You have to have a very good website.
Okay.
You have to look very professional.
Hmm.
I think your laundry attendants need to all be uniformed. Everybody needs to
Okay.
look the same.
Hmm.
Um, I believe having a clean, safe environment is first and
Yeah.
foremost. You have to have, and I think you have to have a good management team behind you. If you don't have a good management team, I think you could get swallowed up pretty quick,
Hmm.
especially going forward. Because if you're on any of the forums, people talk about their management teams and how they're building their management teams, and
Hmm.
you have a tier. If you have just a bunch of attendants and no one can kind of move up the management scale, then everybody's kind of the same, and you just really have to. You can't be complacent. You cannot be complacent in
Right.
this business. I think the
Right.
future of the laundromat business is technology, technology. You see what's happening to the washing machines now, to the washers and the dryers,
Right.
and all card. It's going to be all
Mhm.
card. I don't think. I think quarters are a dying thing. Dollar coin, whatever. I'm all card now. I'm switching all over to card as we speak. I've got
Okay.
4 stores all card, and the last 5 stores are getting installed as we speak. All
Okay.
card. It costs, but we're using LaundryWorks, and I love it because I can come right here on the computer and see exactly what washer's turning. I can see exactly how much money is being made on how many turns this washer's being made, not having to do it the old school way. So I
Hmm.
can kind of put a chart together and say, hey, I want to move this washer against the wall and bring this washer out to the end.
Hmm.
So you can kind of keep the life of the washer. So I think technology wise, it's huge because you're gonna at your fingertip, exactly what's coming in for your laundromats, and especially when you're scaling, you have 9. It's going to be difficult to do quarters, and your hands. I mean, believe me,
Right.
turning those
Yeah.
boxes. Can't hire somebody to do that. You'll miss half your quarters.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you're right. Well, it's certainly technology. You had mentioned management teams and creating a
Yes.
management structure.
Mhm.
How did you go about doing yours, and what does yours look like?
Well, okay. What I look like? Okay, it's owners here, Kelly and I, and then we
Hmm.
have a general manager, and I think I need to add another one, and then we have about 5 men. We have 8 managers, and
Okay.
then we have laundry attendants, then we have some maintenance people who run around and fix things. And if I could set my management team up like Peter Mayberry, if you've seen his out there in Omaha, wow, he's got something going on there. I don't think the guy works. It's funny. No, but if a management team, I think is important because like Luke and Lee Wilford, they have a nice setup as well. But my management team, I'm constantly working and trying to engage with other laundromat owners and how they're running their management team and do some things there, but like Mark over in St. Louis, Mark Harvey, I can't even say his last name. He's got a good management team. Kent Wells, some of these people, they're just so dynamic that if I watch what they're doing and I just kind of want to simulate a little bit and try to do the same things because they're successful. And so why not try to design my business a little bit behind that, But,
absolutely.
But I think it's been evolving. My management team, it's just been evolving on how I'm trying to do things,
Right. And as you grow and as you add different
Correct.
services and things to your business, that makes sense.
Because I have to split things up. You have the laundromat things. Now the pickup and delivery, I have to think about a complete different management team on the pickup and delivery. Because
definitely.
We're at over 10,000 pounds a week right now. I can't imagine, when we start to scale and get 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds, and that's where, I want to be a week. I can't imagine, we're going to have a full staff just management wise over here,
Right. It needs to evolve with the business.
Correct.
For sure.
Correct.
Yeah. Where do you see the greatest opportunities for laundry owners in the next 5 years?
Opportunities?
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest opportunity is wash, dry, fold, pickup and delivery. I think those are the greatest opportunities because I think the laundromat way of thinking is evolving. We're not your brick and mortar store from the 60s, 70s, 80s, or 2000s. It's completely changed. I have noticed a change in the last 5 years. It's unbelievable. So I think in this business, there is so much opportunity for a single operator that they wouldn't even need to even look to scale to buy more stores. They could scale with their wash, dry, fold, pick up and delivery. That's where I see it going. I really do.
Right. Joe, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Last question for you.
Yes.
In 3 words, what's the future of the laundromat business?
Card, management, and modern.
Perfect. I'm going to leave it right there. Is there anything I didn't ask? Is there anything maybe that you'd like to get out there about your whole journey in this industry, about where you see it going, where you see your business going? Anything I didn't ask?
Well, I don't know. No, I don't think. I think we've covered pretty much. You leave some on the table for another podcast for another day. No, I look forward to seeing everybody at the Wash, Dry, Fold Pickup Delivery Conference in October in Nashville. So
the CLA workshop. Yep, the Wash, Dry, Fold workshop in Nashville in early October. Absolutely, I look forward to seeing you there. And
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Joe, thank you so much for the time. I always learn a lot from our interactions, and I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you, Bob. I really appreciate the time. My pleasure.
Thank you. You bet.
Thanks for joining us on our podcast today. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to Planet Laundry at PlanetLaundry.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube.